Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Dallas. I'm Petra Weldes, Spiritual Director here, and it's so lovely to have you with us this morning on this beautiful fall morning. Oh my gosh, yay! I've been sleeping with my windows open for the last few nights, and I hope you have been too, feeling that beautiful connection, that beautiful, lovely breeze. And speaking of being connected, holy mackerel, we were so connected last night to an amazing performance, a box of chocolates. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. If you weren't able to be here, I'm sure Dick will have the video up here at some point, and oh man, did you miss it. It was unbelievable. So if you were part of a box of chocolates, I'd love to have you stand and let us acknowledge you. Please stand, everybody who was a part of it. Stand up forward so they can see you. Yay. Oh my gosh. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes. So thank you. A combination of the theater ministry, the music, the dance ministry, fine arts and music team. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. So we are entering a new conversation now this month. We're talking about a world that works for everyone. And our new book, A Promise Ahead, by Dwayne Elgin. I met Dwayne years ago, 30 years ago now, and he's been writing these amazing books about how we can move into the future in a good way, based on our spiritual practices and principles, and deeply develop the consciousness, not only for ourselves individually, but collectively for our planet. So we're going to be diving into that now for the rest of the month, and of course our Wednesday series will be following along. So you're invited to join us for that. So I'd like to welcome any of you who are here for the first time. Hi, I'm Petra Weldes, Senior Minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Dallas, and we're delighted that you found us here on the web. You can find our Sunday services on our website by every Wednesday, and we love that you can look at us online and explore these spiritual teachings. Feel free to explore our archives. It goes back a number of years with lots of special topics and amazing speakers. You can also sign up for our email news, My Daily Words, and my blog, Spiritual Living with Dr. Petra. If you're looking for a spiritual community, come visit us. Or if you're just in Dallas, drop on by. We'd love to give you a hug. Welcome home.
Think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or asked the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches of of the mountain. We need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
So, what is this kingdom? What is this kingdom that is to come? It's certainly not something we're going to experience after we die. That's not what we teach here at the Center for Spiritual Living. What we teach here is that the kingdom is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is within us. And our purpose, our job, our reason for being is to express that kingdom right here on earth, to allow it to unfold not only in our own lives, but in all of our lives collectively. It doesn't always look that way, does it? I don't know how many of you read the newspaper, watch the news. Some of us can become very addicted to it, and ooh man, it's inundating, isn't it? Sometimes it's overwhelming and it can get a little frightening. And there is a whole boatload of stuff going on out there in the world that can feel like we're going to hell in a handbasket. It's interesting to think about. There's a wonderful paragraph. I tried to find it, but I'm still unpacking my stuff in my new condo, and it's still somewhere in a box. There's a snippet from a newspaper clipping. It talks about how people are running amok and the children aren't listening to their elders, and there's war and there's pestilence and there's stuff going on everywhere. And, it looks like it came out of the newspaper from last week or last month or 10 years ago. And actually it comes out of a Roman newspaper from 300 BCE. It could have been in yesterday's paper. So one of the things that we're talking about this month is a world that works for everyone. That is the ultimate vision that we have for what it means to walk a spiritual path. Not just this spiritual path, but if all of us collectively are walking a spiritual path and understanding that we're a part of something larger, we actually expect that to make a difference on the planet. We're not expecting it to be about, some reward we're going to have in some afterlife, but that rather than looking for heaven out there, we are actually bringing heaven to earth here. And sometimes the juxtaposition between what we see in the media and what we see on television, and with the new strikes and the new wars and the things that are going on in Palestine, and the list seems endless. But I'm here to tell you that we live in the safest time on the planet. It's more peaceful on the planet today than it has ever been. More people live in peace. More prosperity has happened on the planet in the last 200 years than had happened in the 10,000 years before that of recorded history. Our individual lives, no matter where we live, even in the worst places on the planet, for the most part, are actually better than they've ever been. And why is that? Because we have been, as a species, collectively working on that since the beginning. We've learned that it's not just about my life. We've learned it was about the life of the tribe. And then we learned it wasn't just about the life of the tribe or our village. It was about the life of the collective tribe. And then we learned it wasn't just about the life of the tribe, but it was also about the life of the nation. And now we're learning that it's not just about the life of any nation, it is actually the life of our planet as a whole. And consistently, progressively, over the tens of thousands of years that humanity has awakened and grown up, has begun to grow up, we have consistently learned over time what works and what doesn't, what creates more chaos and what creates less. So despite what the media is showing us, things are actually better than they've ever been. But it doesn't make it okay that there are things that are still not okay, does it? We don't want our own personal lives to be 50% good or 70% good. We want them to be all good. And so we want that for all of us collectively, and we want that for our planet as a whole. And so we're constantly called, we're constantly invited into the conversation and into the idea of how do we participate in a world that works for everyone? How do we make a difference? How do we add our light, our gift, our action in a way that actually makes a difference? And how do we do that without becoming overwhelmed? Because there are so many things that feel like they need to be done. And some of them seem very, very grave and critical at this juncture. And so, as in all cases, we always start with our spiritual premise. If we want to know how to move in the world, if we want to know how to speak in the world, if we want to know how to act in the world, we start with our spiritual premise. And what is that but unity? One life. There's one life. It's moving through all of us, through all of creation, through all beings everywhere. There's one life. That this is a fundamental wholeness that we live in, a fundamental unity, an infinite presence, the divine reality, which is life itself. And in that, somehow we're all connected. We're all a part of it. We all live and move and have our being embraced in this one infinite reality. And as we stand there, that begins to inform us in how we can move in the world. Now, this is not a new idea. This is not new to New Thought. This is a very old idea. It comes to us from many traditions, but is most beautifully expressed in the Native American tradition. So I want to start out with a video that I want to share with you.
I'm going to begin here. God, this is already becoming emotional. Mitakuye Oyasin, all are related, is a traditional Sioux prayer with its opening phrases used as a refrain in many Lakota prayers and songs. It reflects the inherent belief of most Native American traditions and belief systems that everything is connected. So everything is connected. Everything. So that's why I say, like, if you're giving thanks to God, you're giving thanks to the Creator that created you, that gifted your life. It hears that, it acknowledges it. It's like, in a way, you're blessing yourself inside. You're giving thanks to yourself, much like God giving thanks to itself, that it somehow charges itself up and it expands and becomes more of what it is, forever and eternal. I see God as internal infinity, like it spreads out forever. And the best way you could see it is through, in my opinion, looking through the beautiful arts of sacred geometry, and you visibly see what God's pattern is. But that could be another video. Mitakuye Oyasin, and the translations of themes of this is the phrases translate as all my relatives, all are related, all my relations. It is a prayer of oneness and harmony, God, with all forms of life, other people, animals, birds, insects, trees, and plants, even the rocks, rivers, mountains, and valleys. The prayer. God, already. Aho Mitakuye Oyasin, all my relations. I honor you in this circle of life with me today. I am grateful for this opportunity to acknowledge you in this prayer. Okay. To the Creator, for the ultimate gift of life, I thank you. To the mineral nation that has built and maintained God, my bones and all foundations of life experience, I thank you. To the plant nation that sustains my organs and body and gives me healing herbs for sickness, I thank you. To the animal nation that feeds me from your own flesh and offers your loyal companionship in this walk of life, I thank you. To the human nation that shares my path as a soul upon this sacred wheel of earthly life, I thank you. To the spirit nation that guides me invisibly through the ups and downs of life, and for carrying the torch of light throughout the ages, I thank you. To the four winds of change and growth, I thank you. You are my relations, my relatives, without whom I would not live. We are in the circle of life together, coexisting, codependent, co-creating our destiny. One not more important than the other. One nation evolving from other, yet each dependent upon one above and the one below. All of us part of the great mystery. Thank you for this life.
Mitakuye Oyasin. Mitakuye Oyasin. All my relations, all my relatives. You'll find that prayer on the back of the handout that you received today so that you'll have it. When I lived in my cabin for 3 years in the woods, before I moved to Dallas, my only spiritual community at the time was a native drum circle. And we prayed that prayer. And we spoke deeply about all my relations, the mineral people and the stone people, and the plant people. And it was an opportunity for a profound deepening for me beyond just this notion, an intellectual, conceptual idea of unity. We have this idea of unity, and we either think about it from a scientific point of view. Yes, we're all energy, we're all photons of light. They tell us from quantum mechanics we're all the same at the subatomic level. We can think of it that way. Or we can think of it as this notion that somehow we're all one, heart to heart, as individuals. But there's this idea of unity that recognizes that we are related to all that is here in the physical world, that there is some way in which we are profoundly and deeply related, that our unity is a unity of life, a unity of consciousness. In Hinduism, which a science of mind pulls at least 50% of out of Hinduism, there's a deep understanding that this unity is a unity in consciousness, and that everything is alive. It's not just a dead physical universe, but it's a cosmos. It's an alive cosmos. And from Hinduism, we have this wonderful thing that Ernest Holmes picks up and he uses over and over and over again in his writings. And it says that consciousness sleeps in the rocks, waves in the plants, moves in the animals, and awakens in man, in the human being. And so through this and through these beautiful prayers, this beautiful Lakota prayer, we are reminded that we live in this web of life, that we are intimately and infinitely connected, that we are bound together in some way. And not only without each other as human beings can we not survive, but without the air we can't survive, and without the earth we can't survive, and without the plants and the animals we can't survive. We are as intimately bound together as the most beautiful ecosystem that you can imagine. where every part is intimately and intricately interwoven with every other part. That's what it means to be a unity, to be in relation to each other. And not just human beings, but in relation to all beings everywhere. And so one of the things that we do when we're called to be about a world that works for everyone, do you see, we're called into a place where we move from the me to the we. We move from the healing of our own lives, which is critical and necessary, which we must do. We move from that place to the healing of life, of physical life, which we are a part of. We move to that greater sense of healing because we recognize that we belong and we're intimately connected in a way beyond any way that we can imagine, that we are related to everything in life. And when we really begin to get a hold of this idea of unity, not just as a concept, but as a lived experience, and we see that these are all my relations, do you see, it completely changes then how we engage with my relatives, my relation, the mountain, my relation, the tree, my relation, the soil. Do you see it changes how we engage with them? When I was doing all this native prayer in these drum circles and really found myself, and I hiked so much almost every day, and I found myself in my own woods experience for a number of years, and I noticed that I began to make decisions based on that experience. And over the last 20 years, I've made all kinds of decisions because I recognize that these are all my relations. And so I recycle for the mineral people and for Gaia. And I drive a hybrid car for the air and spirit people and for the air that we share. And I make decisions about purchasing organic food and grains and meat for the plant and animal relations, so that I know that the way that they have been handled is with care and with love, and that it matters. And I say grace before every meal in respect and gratitude for my relations that have given their life so that I have mine. And I make decisions about where I buy things and where I spend my money and how I vote. I make decisions based on the fact that these are all my relations. And I'm a part of this ultimate tribe called the unity of all life. And that what I do makes a difference. What each one of us does makes a difference. And when we take it up, not from a should, you should recycle because that's the right thing to do, or you should make lots of jobs so that lots of people will have money so they don't go hungry. It's not about a should. Do you see? It's not that you should take care of your children. It's that these are your relations. You take care of your family, your children, your loved ones, your partner. This is the natural response we have, do you see, when we know that these are our relations. It's not about the should, it's about the sacred respect that we have for each other, for all beings everywhere. So finding a way to move in that isn't a should and that isn't an overwhelming thing. It's about finding the thing or the moments of things that we ourselves can do. But our doingness has to rest on consciousness. Remember, it's all about the unity of life, and it's about the consciousness that we share with all of life. And so the same thing is true when we think about the collective healing of our planet. whether it's climate change, whether it's peace, whether it's everybody being able to have food and water and enough to eat, that also is built on consciousness, just like the healing that we do in our own lives. The very same things are true. So we begin by determining what it is that we want. We hold a vision. We hold a vision for health or for wholeness or for more abundance in our own lives. We make a declaration. We make an affirmation about how this is so. This is the spiritual truth. And then we walk in our own personal lives to begin to unfold that, right? Isn't that what we do? And so we can do that on the collective level as well. So the other thing that's in your handout is the global vision. The Centers for Spiritual Living wrote a number of years ago a thing called the Global Vision. And it is our collective vision of what it means when we move through the world with this deep and abiding respect and a recognition of the sacredness of life and the truth about each other. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers his or her own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, a sense of belonging, a world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement, and justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is a generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. Amen. Thank you. Yeah. And so do you see, we start with that vision. We start with envisioning something. And we hold to that vision, and it becomes the guide for then the decisions, the choices, the actions that we take. And just like our spiritual path is individual to each one of us walks our spiritual path uniquely. And we have our own precious gift to give and our own precious life to live, which is also uniquely our own. And nobody gets to say who we are and how we are to live and how we are to express it ourselves. The same thing is true as we move out into the world. Some of us may be called to peace work, or to feed hungry children, or to work for sustainability on the planet, or to work for greater economic freedom. Each one of us will do that in our own unique and individual and personal way. And nobody gets to say to us what we should or shouldn't be doing. But we could be doing something. Do you see? That's what makes a world that works for everyone. That we are concerned not only with our own lives and with the way that life supports us, but we recognize that, like in all other things, it is a circle That as life supports us, we too, in turn, are here to support life. We are the hands and heart and voice and eyes of the One. We are the place. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones who can do what is required, what is called for. And when we do it, envisioning where it's going, do you see? We do it without fear. We do it without anger. We do it without making anybody else wrong. We do it without feeling despair or overwhelm. We do it with the same confidence and trust that we move in our own lives. We like to see demonstrations in our own lives happening very, very quickly, don't we? And sometimes, it's not always instantaneous, is it? Sometimes it takes a little while. But if we stay committed and focused and intentional and we walk the walk, we know that it will work itself to that end. Well, the same thing is true on the collective, but if we can imagine that on the collective, the time scale is the collective time scale, not necessarily our time scale. But we can trust that as we participate, as we move, as we do our individual actions, set our individual intention, we are building for the seventh generation, aren't we? Yes, for the seventh generation, not just for those things that we ourselves will see or will get to experience the good from. So I'm going to invite you to think about coming to our Wednesday series. We're going to be deepening in this conversation, and every Wednesday we'll be working with this book, Dwayne Elgin's book. And one of the things that I love about his work is that it is it's so powerfully positive about the possibility of the future. And it's all built on consciousness. It's not about, you should do this and you should do that. It's about where is our consciousness leading us. And he has this notion that if we look at where we are as a human species on the planet, yet we've entered adolescence. That's about where we are. We've entered adolescence. And it's a little bit like the hero's journey, and it's the very same thing that we as teenagers do, we are doing as a human species. And these are the simple model of separation, initiation, and return. He says this: separation, by my reckoning, a complex phase of progressively divorcing ourselves from nature, has extended over the last 35,000 years. From the time of our initial awakening as gatherers and hunters up to the present. During this millennia, humanity has increasingly pulled away from nature in order to develop our unique capacities and talents as a species. Do you see, there's nothing wrong with that. We actually have to do it. Just like our teenagers, they have to actually pull away from mom and dad, and they have to push away and discover who they are. The last half century seems to mark our final severance from nature as we cause, for example, the mass extinction of other species and the disruption of the global climate. But what happens when we get to that place? As spiritual beings, we are invited into the initiation. To undergo initiation is to make a major transition to a new and larger life, and it often involves going through a powerful change. As we confront challenges such as climate change and species extinction, humanity seems poised to undergo an initiation that will give us the opportunity to become an authentic human family in feeling and experience as well as in name. How many of us as teenagers rejected everything from our family, and then we found later as we had children of our own, oh my God, the very words of our parents, right, came out of our mouths. And we recognize that the child, when it is born, the first 9 months, it doesn't even know that its mother is somebody different than itself. And the whole maturing process is the sense of separation and individualizing oneself into who one is. But then we grow into a larger place, don't we? And all of a sudden we start reconnecting. But now we reconnect awake, don't we? We have oneness and unity, but not that unconscious oneness and unity of a baby or a child. Now we consciously choose unity, choose that larger life. Do you see? That's the initiation. We go through it individually as individual spiritual beings having a human experience, and our species collectively is going through this process as well. And we can help it along by knowing that's what's happening. And finally, he says, return. To pass successfully through our initiation, we will have to forge new bonds within our species and with nature as a whole. This phase marks our passage into our early adulthood and the beginning of a long process of reconnecting with nature. A promising future lies ahead as we begin a task for grown-ups, building a sustainable planetary civilization. Do you see, we're growing up as a human species. And as we move into adulthood, we discover that we actually have to care for our nest, don't we? I can remember as a teenager, you could not walk across my floor. I mean, it was piles of clothes and junk and stuff. And, you know, my mother had taught me how to clean when I was a kid, and finally she just closed the door and shook her head and gave up. And when I moved into adulthood, I discovered, wow, I actually really like my room neat. I like my home neat. I like my condo, my new condo. I like it neat. I actually pick up after myself. But there was that period of time as a teenager when I didn't do that. And I had to return to that. Do you see? As a species, we were once very connected to the earth, very connected to each other, as we saw in that beautiful Lakota prayer. And we have moved to that place of separation, and now we're being invited by the reality of the physical life experience. We're being invited to return. Now, he goes on to say that this is promising. This is promising because it is not only inviting us into this greater future, but it is growing us individually and as a species. He says, our belief, our core purpose as a species lies largely unexplored in the scientific name that we have given ourselves. As Homo sapiens sapiens, or doubly wise humans, we have the capacity to know and to know that we know. Homo sapiens sapiens, doubly wise humans. That means we're wise not only in the mechanics of the world. That's been the scientific revolution and the spiritual revolution before that. All of that taught us so much. But now, as we are engaging in this consciousness revolution from science to spirituality, do you see, we are awakening to a new consciousness, a new understanding of this unity. But now we're aware of it. We're not just in our tribes unconsciously a part of the whole. We're now awake to it. And out of that awakeness, do you see, we have choice. We have the individual opportunity to make whatever decisions are in alignment with how we show up in the world. And we don't have to make all of them. We don't have to do everything. We just have to do something. So I want to close with this video. I've had this video now for, years. I would say 2.5 years, and I've been waiting for a service to share it with you. Today is the day. So I'm going to close with this.
Kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, and someone needs to talk to his parents if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? It's always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. Maybe some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Oh, sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh, you kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh,
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
it's about time. Let's see, what do I want?
Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookie.
Thank you so much. What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll have a tall decaf macchiato.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Be $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What is... What is that? What in the world? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't.
Your copy, sir.
Oh. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, watch it.
Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
From the Fellowship Baptist Church, Little Rock, Arkansas. That video comes from, and well, you don't have to do everything. We can't possibly do everything, but we can each do something. And every something that we do, it makes a difference. Do you see, when we do unto others, when we recognize that we're all related, then we do unto others the way we would do unto our beloveds. Let us pray. And so we take a moment just to breathe into that beautiful open-heartedness that recognizes that we are actually all one. Because there is only one life. There's only one thing happening. Whether we call it Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Allah, the Force, Great Spirit, makes no difference. There's only one thing happening. And that's the infinite expression of life itself. And that life, that consciousness that is the foundation of all creation, moves through all creation. Every step we take, we're standing on holy ground. Every flower we smell, we are breathing in the perfume of the divine. Every meal that we taste, we are tasting of the nectar of the one. Every eye that we look into, we are looking into the eyes and the windows of God. All my relations. Mitakuye Oyasin. And so as we recognize this deep interconnectedness, let us stand with respect in the sacred hoop of life, the wheel of life, the web of life into which we are woven. And let us affirm that we do our part. We take up our piece, that which is uniquely ours, our gift, our love, our individual decisions and choices to make a difference. And let us remember that over the course of time, the human species time, we make a difference. Life moves towards more life, more prosperity, more wholeness, more love and health and joy. This we have seen on our planet, so let us continue to affirm it. Let us not be fooled by the conditions or be afraid of anything that is going on. Let us see the truth, let us speak the truth, and let us act from that truth. And we know that the universal law says yes, yes, and doubly yes. And so truly we become a healing place on the planet, a blessing wherever we go. We let it be so, and so it is.
Hi, my name is Barbara. It is the pre-T class. Today we talked about filling our buckets and our energy. After we filled our buckets, we meditated and we thought about the good things that would fill our buckets and other people's.
What I usually do to fill my bucket is, skateboard, have me time, play video games, take a nap. Now, what do you do to fill your buckets?